Well, I don't know what this video is going to be. I don't know if it's a restoration, a repair, a renovation. I don't know what it is. You'll see why in a moment. This is a Bosch hedge trimmer, and it says on the side 14.4 volts, 1100 something minutes. Oh, 1100 stroke per minute, I should think that means. And it says there NiCd, and that presumably means don't throw it in the bin, and that looks like a symbol for a battery, so it looks like you plug in a battery, and that's obviously a noise rating. And the NiCd battery presumably went in there, and then on this side it's got that, which of course is now upside down. Bosch AHS 41A CCU, and it says 14.4 volts, 410 millimeters. Now I bought this, and you can't see all of it in the picture obviously because it's too long to fit, but I bought this, no battery, no charger, as found by the people selling it, don't know if it works, simple as that. Now there is a reason for that. I would like to convert one of these to lithium ion, and the reason I would like to convert one of these is that this is not made in China. It says there made in Hungary, and I'm hoping that by getting an old one of these I get better quality parts. Who knows? For all I know, the Chinese one's better made. I've got nothing against the Chinese, so for all I know, the Chinese ones are better made than this one. But this was cheap. I'm going to see if I can convert it to lithium ion. Now, the problem with converting to lithium ion is what lithium ion? Because there isn't an easy comparison to 14.4 volts. It just depends on what you mean by 14.4 volts. Because if I use 4 lithium ion batteries at 3.6 volts, then that's 4 6s are 24, so that's 2.4. 4 3s are 12, plus 2.4, 14.4. So if I use 4 batteries and I take them as a stated value of 3.6 volts, I get 14.4. They will of course charge to 4.2 volts, which will make a higher voltage. But what happens if you just put 18 volts to this? I mean, it'd probably run a bit faster, but does it actually matter? Because an awful lot of motors don't really care what voltage they get within reason. Obviously, if you've got a motor that takes 12 volts and you put 14 volts or 16 volts or 18 volts, you're probably okay. But obviously if you put in something like 100 volts, it may not turn out so well. They do seem to be very tight. And there's a lot of them. Come on. Oh, did I do that one? Yep, done that one. Right, now, was there another one on the other side of this handle? Let's just turn that over a little bit. Let some of those fall out if they want to. Oh yep, there's another one on the other side of this handle part. Oh, off. Oh, that slides forward a bit. Ugh. A little bit oily, but not too bad, so it looks like it's been well looked after. Blade looks okay. Well, it's still got some screws that haven't fallen out yet. In fact, we've got quite a few that haven't fallen out yet. Can we lift this apart. Oh, have we got any screws that are still catching in there? That comes loose. That's nice and loose. Oh, is there one in there? Ah, there's one in there. My God. Oh, alright. Missed one. Let's see if a little bit of magnetism on the end of this will help. Might be a bit too long though. Yeah, it is. Pull one out. Let's try a magnet, shall we? See if we can push these out. What have we got? One in there? Yeah, one in there. In there. No, that one doesn't want to come out. That one does. Those are out. Come on, you can do it. Nope, that one's out. That one's out. So we've just got one here that doesn't want to come out. Come on. There we go. Right, well let's see, does this lift off? I've got a sneaky feeling this has got a spring in it. So I'm not going to enjoy that bit, am I? Come on, you can do it, lift off. It seems that everything ever made with springs in was made just to upset me. So how does that come off of there then? Oh, like that. Wow, look, it looks like new. Well, that's amazing. It's in fantastic condition. Well, I can't believe that. I mean, I'll give it a bit of a clean, but I mean, it just looks like new. There's the motor going round, so the motor goes round, turns this drive pinion down here, that turns this wheel, and then that wheel moves these blades, and these blades go backwards and forwards, and well, they are literally like new. A little bit of grass clippings on them, or hedge trimming I suppose that is, isn't it? But other than that, I mean, I can't, it's not so easy to show you the blade. If I try and get that right over there, but if I pull this back, I mean the blade looks, well, I can tell you that, wow, that is sharp. That is like a knife. Yeah, this has hardly been used. That is really sharp. Yeah, that is definitely a knife edge on there, so it doesn't even come close to needing sharpening. So in fact there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, so it should work fine. Right, I've just spent 10 minutes going over this, giving it a brush out, and just looking for odd little bits of dirt, cobwebs, and I've even been down the rest of this, the actual trimmer part. It's so clean, I doubt if I got a thimble full of sort of leafy muck or dirt off of it. It's unbelievable. Now, obviously, if I had the battery, this would be a fairly simple job, because we'd have a battery that would fit here, it would plug in there, and we could convert the casing of the battery to fit lithium-ion batteries, assuming they would fit, which sometimes they don't. But of course I don't have this, all I've got is this space, so I've got to find a way of connecting from whatever goes here, or from whatever will go here, to there. Now because of that, I don't actually need this connector, all I need is a method of connecting to here. Right, this was obviously the days where they weren't too worried about expense, because I've got connectors on the motor. Got soldering around the switch, but I've got a connector on here as well, so I can actually take the wire off of there that goes to the battery and I should be able to get this one off as well if I get hold of it. And then there's the connector that will clip onto the battery. So I could fabricate something that will clip onto here, or I can do away with this completely and connect straight to these wires. I've just made these two little connectors up, and I'm going to connect them to the battery inputs. It's more difficult than you'd think, because this is a different size to what you think of as a normal size. So these are actually, that's pretty much that size. I found these on an old piece of electrical equipment, so I just pulled them off. But the common size that you find all over electrical equipment and on cars and the like is actually bigger than that. So that's a bit odd. But hopefully that will go in there, which it does. And hopefully that one, which is in a more awkward spot, I'll get hold of it and go in there, which it does. Then we can bring those out. Obviously I'm not, this is just for testing. Right, I've just brushed out any bits of greenery that I could see lying around in here and a few cobwebs, but again next to nothing. So this we should be able to get back on here. One thing I should say is that you should be glad that YouTube doesn't offer smelly vision, because there's something odd about the smell of this. I'm not quite sure what mice smell like, but I'm wondering if what this actually smells of is mouse pee. I don't really know, but it's a bit of a strange smell, put it that way. Now, well, that's got to go under there, hasn't it? That's got to go over there. There were two metal pins, one was in the bottom half and one had got stuck in this top half. Right, I think that's all on, and then there's our two wires sticking out the bottom. Right, what's that one? I think the battery's getting black, but it's still getting the job done. I suppose we could have used a Bosch screwdriver, couldn't we? Got plenty of them. Right, just these two screws at the front now for this guard. Other side. Right. So now, what we want to know is what can we power this with? Now, that's already got a crocodile clip on the end, which is handy. This one's just a bit of wire, so I need to strip that one back. I can always stick a crocodile clip on the end of that one as well if I decide I needed to. But, right, this is an old 4-pack battery. It's not quite fully charged. That clamps on there nice. I can't clamp that one on there till I find something to clamp it on with. Yeah, hold off. Right. Right, they're on. Let's just twist that upright like that. Move this away from anything so we don't do any harm. You can see the blades. You can't see the switch, but you can see my hand over by it. Now I'm guessing that you've got to pull this switch up and press that one down. So presumably that on its own doesn't work, that one doesn't work. So we've got to do both. So what I'll do is I'll pull this one up and hold it, and then you can watch me just pressing this one. Let's see what happens. How fast is that? I've got a little machine that will tell me the speeds, but it's when they're going bzzz, spinning round and round. It won't tell me that sort of reciprocating speed, so don't know. Right, so that's with 4 batteries. What we want to know is, can we use 5, which would be 18 volt. Right, then we've got, I've added a crocodile clip, a little bit of nickel plated something or other from an old battery stuck in that one. Same on that one, plus there, minus there, so that you can see what's going on here. Again, I'll hold this in and we'll just concentrate on this. And the question we have to ask ourselves is that too fast? And does the motor care? It does look a little bit fast. Let's go straight back to the other one so that we can compare them more quickly one after the other. There's plus. There's minus. Hold that in. It's not hugely different, is it? I mean, it's slower, but is it slower enough to say that's a lot slower? But this might be the solution or the answer to our question, because if I want to use this 18 volt battery, yes, it will fit, but I'll have to cut away part of the handle and possibly part of this front body, and that may not be a good idea. But let's look at the possibility of just going with this. Look at that. I mean, you could even make, if that will actually fit in there, right up against there. There's even room to go one more if you want, so we could put an 18 volt battery in there, and we've got room. But we've actually got room for another one. If I was to get another battery, you can see we would easily have room to put another one there if we wanted to, as long as we have this sort of skeleton frame type work. So I think without a doubt this is the way to go. And we might as well go with 14.4 volts to start with. What we'll do is we'll loosely join wiring together and test it on a Hedge. I don't think this is going to matter, but I'm just going to cover up those. They would be the charge points. So if I just do that with that one, and the same thing with this one. Right, so for the sake of testing, I've put 2 male connectors on there and 2 female connectors on here. I just need to remember that black is plus. Why black is plus, I have no idea, but it is. So black is plus. So that needs to go in there. And actually, while we're here, I'll make a note of that on here. So that one, for some reason, is plus. And then white is minus, because you could be tempted to put black to black. Right, I think that's reasonably well covered up, because then we should be able to poke the excess wire down there out of the way. Plonk that, let's see, where's the easiest way? That way round probably. I mean, look at that, that just is going to fit so tidy. Right, I think for the sake of testing we'll just stick a bit of tape over it. Paint is tape. Put that across there. And do the same at this end. Oh, Sounds like the jets are practicing outside. Right. Right, I don't know how the Hedge test cutting came out, but in terms of video, but in terms of actual cutting, it worked perfect. So all I need to do now is find a way to charge this up, and I'm wondering about fixing it in permanently, because we've got quite a few Bosch tools where you just plug the tool in and charge it up, and it's no big deal to me, because if the batteries ever go sour I shall just open the tool, put new batteries in it. So if this had sealed in batteries and that had a moulded cover over it, it'd make no difference whatsoever to me. Just a pity I haven't got a 3D printer, because that looks like something you could print. If you knew the shape, you could print a cover to that, no trouble at all. Connector, charger end. This is a 5S, but I think I can use it as a 4S by just ignoring the last one. So I'm going to solder these at either end to power up the board and then connect up to the back. Right, this one here is B minus, and then we've got first cell, second cell, third cell, fourth cell, fifth cell, but we're not going to use the fifth cell, so we've got that one there, which is the fourth cell. So I'm going to assume. Now the only problem with this is that I don't think there are any lighters on this board, so the only way to find out if it's doing anything is to turn it on and measure some voltages. And I don't know if it will do that when there are no batteries attached. So we could have a bit of a problem. Right, let's see what this battery currently says it is, bearing in mind we've just been playing Hedge trimmers with it. That's fairly well charged now, isn't it? Look, 15.37 volts it's saying at the moment, so remember that, 15.37. Right, I've cut 4 pips of plastic, 1, 2, 3, 4 off, so I've got somewhere for the board to sit. I'm just going to extend this one with a bit of wire, because then I can take this underneath the board. So that is going to sit down there, then that can go there. It doesn't matter if this comes up and touches the board, because there's no contacts over in that area, there's only contacts over on this side. So this needs to come up and go onto one of those, so we just need a little bit of wire over here to reach, so we don't need a huge great amount. So that's that one, and these currently probably not going to reach, but they're probably a little bit too long as well, so what we'll do is we'll do it a bit at a time. Now, I've used this in the past for something else, and I'm hoping it works, so we'll just have to find out together. Right, I've just realised I'm using some of the world's horriblest wire, but never mind, it's as stiff as a board. So this one is number 1. So that goes there, and I just need it to go over. Come on, that's it. Right, that's number 1. That one said 8 and that one says 12, so that one there is number 2, which is this one. But like I say, this is awful, this wire. I've picked the wrong wire to do this job. I don't know why it's like this, but it is. Right, so that is going to go on number 2. Put a little drop more solder on number 2. Like I say, it's so stiff it will fight the tweezers. I can guarantee it. Come on, there's a hole down there somewhere. Go in the hole. That'll do. This one is going to be 3. Come on, that's it. That just needs to come across. I'll take it underneath that one. So that can come across like that. Turn around, come down and go there. That should do us. Right, put a bit of extra solder on there. A little bit of solder on here. I mean, you don't expect a wire to have more spring in it, or as much spring as a solid metal thing. Right, that looks like that's soldered. Right, and then this first minus one obviously needs to connect to the minus terminal, and the last plus one needs to connect to the plus terminal, and then we should be good to go. It wouldn't hurt if we used a bit of red wire from the black wire. How stupid can you get? Never mind. So we've got to... it's a pity there was a wire on there and I cut it off. Oh, finally getting a little bit to stick on. Yep, that's a little bit. Not a lot, a little bit. What about this one? Right, so we've got a tiny bit. Right. Now we're going to want that to come around here, across to there, around there, around here, across to there, and on to there. So somewhere around about that length. And then we're going to want a bit of black wire on here. So let's get a bit of solder on there. And then that one, well, we'll cut corners, we'll go the other way. So we'll go across here, like that, across there, round here, down there, and onto there. Alright. Alright. Then we've got a little bit of solder on there. Oops. And we'll put a little bit of solder on there. And the black one is going to come round here to there. And then the red one is going to go round here and come in right, it's hooked to the charger. We're on 15.5 and the actual charger itself has got a green light on it saying it's charging. It'll be interesting to see if it ever arrives at a point where it thinks it's charged, because I don't know what voltage they would have set it to cut out at. If we take that as being 1, 2, 3, 4 cells, 4 fours are 16, 0.2, 4 times 0.2 is 0.8, so that would give this 16.8. So in theory the charger would cut out at about 16.8. I'm charging this outdoors because everybody talks about the risk of fire. That is stone cold, not even slightly warm. We're on 16.7 something. Right, I've cut 2 pieces of plastic in a hope of making a side for a box, so a side there and a side there. Plastic side, and then this would become plastic top. Now, I got my measurements slightly wrong. I could have done with this sitting on top, but I actually made it slightly too narrow, so it's got to sit in the gap in between. Nothing I can do about it now. I mean, that's what it's got to be. So that is going to go there. If we put that on there, of course it's immediately trying to push it down. Hang on to that for now. Right, so that's back where it needs to be. I don't know if it's possible to actually glue the edges together because I don't know what this plastic is. We're sort of in the ballpark of something that might work. It doesn't want to come off, but it gives you an idea. There's a shape there to go into this shape down here. I'm trying some super glue on this edge. I'm trying to keep it square, hence the square next to it, while I glue it. But unfortunately the glue seems to have taken a little bit along here, but at this end it doesn't seem to want to stick. So how it can be partially sticky and not all the way sticky, I don't know. But like here it just keeps moving, it doesn't want to stick. Glue to go on the edge that I actually want glued. That onto there. Right, of course this would be completely useless if this doesn't fit in it, so that has got to fit in there, and it does with virtually no room to spare, but it does fit. Well, I'm trying to get a measurement from here to here and it's 11, but or 110 millimeters. 111 puts me almost exactly where that tape is. Right, I've just put super glue down there, across there and up there, having cut this 4 millimeters short. So I'm now waiting for my fingers to glue themselves to this so that I can continue. Test fit. If I push that forward a bit, it gives me a bit of room down this end. That goes on to there. I'm going to end up with a bit of a gap here, but I can't do anything about that because you can't put that down without leaving a gap. But then I'm thinking that either here or there, but it doesn't really matter, so here I can have a charge point, and then we wouldn't have to keep taking this off because we would just charge it through here. Right, the step drill should be good enough. I don't think it matters too much where we drill the hole, so that looks like it. That'll do. So that's our plus, which is our centre pin. So that will be the centre pin in there. And this is our minus. And we've got a choice of minus pins, there's two. Need to go through there. Put the nut back on. Why didn't you fall there in the first place? Alright, I've got a bit of a blob of solder on the iron, so let's hope that that'll go on there like that. And it has. So that's on there. I'll put that little bit on there. This is the sort of spongy stuff. And then get it back down here. I'll put one there. And one there. And let's get that. I'll take a gamble that as far up to there as possible is the ideal spot. Let's have a look, see what we've got. So we've still got these in here. And if I remember rightly, we marked one of these as being plus. So black is plus, and white is minus, or negative. Right, that can go in there. There should be plenty of room for those to disappear down there out of the way. That should go under there. That should sit like that. And we just need a way of making it stay there. Right, hot melt glue gun to the rescue. I mean, I absolutely hate hot melt glue. I don't like using it on anything, so we will only be using this until I can think of something better. But you know what they say about temporary measures. It's only temporary if it doesn't work. If it works, it becomes permanent. This might be the first and one and only time ever where I think possibly coloured hot melt glue would be useful, because if I could just squeeze a tiny bit of red hot melt glue into these gaps and then clean off the surface afterwards, that will be fantastic. Whereas this, of course, just looks like hot snot, which is what it is. So there we are. I can plug the charger in, it will charge. All I need to do now is find a hedge that needs cutting. No, to be honest, this is just, the whole reason for this is it's just going to be used to tidy up little bushes, not a whole hedge. This is just for tidying up little bushes to save getting out the big cutter every time when you just want to take the edges off and make it look a little bit smarter. So, all done, hopefully.